Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Tweak of the Week. This is episode 2. Today we're going to be swapping out the old coolant bottle. So we're going to be taking it from this horrible yellow thing to this nice new clear one. So before we get stuck into it, let's jump into the intro. So this is one of those tasks that I've been meaning to do for an absolute age. Parts wise, 10 to 20 quid for a new one, so not a lot. And it does make a big difference, because I mean, if you look in the bay, nice and clean, horrible orangey yellow, stained. Obviously it's the heat cycles and all that kind of stuff. Obviously being in an engine bay with all the oil and all that sort of stuff over the years has faded it and made it a different colour. And it's just a nice little touch. Changing this, I do it on most of my cars that have this similar problem. First of all, remove this trim. And then what we need to do is we're going to need to remove the liquid that's in here. Now the easiest way to do that is if you've got, well, it's coming up to Christmas, so if you've got yourself a pipette for basting the turkey, if you can sneak it away, obviously once you've used it you'll have to throw it, but it is a great one for that. Or if you've got like an antifreeze tester, which is what I'll use, plus it's a good excuse to check it anyway, and you can we can literally just suck this out into a bottle so we can reuse it, and then I'll show you how to swap it out. It's a relatively straightforward one. Tools wise, you'll only need a pair of grips, a Phillips screwdriver and a couple of other little bits and bobs. So let's get it drained out. Forgot to mention, also worth doing when the car is cold, of course, as you don't want to get hurt or get burnt or have any other issues like that. So let's get my bottle set up. Right, that took longer than expected. So, got all this removed out. Now, this is empty, so we're ready to start undoing everything. Now, we'll start with the wiring. Now, this is your low-level sensor. It has a little tab on either side. If you squeeze both tabs together, you may have to push it down. You'll hear it click both sides, and then it will just pull away. And we'll just keep that out of the way for a minute. There is also, in the side of the bottle, two little cable holders which will hold cable on the side here, so we'll pop them off as well. They just push out, and we'll try and sort of keep that out of the way safe so we know it doesn't drop down. We'll do the two Phillips screws at the back again. So there's our two cables, there's the two Phillips screws, so they're PH2s. Try not to use a posi drive one because you may damage the head, and if they're old they could be rusty. And that's the last thing you want, is to round one of them off, because they're not particularly easy to get to. So just carefully remove them, put them somewhere safe out of the way. They come out relatively easy. This is also what holds the bracket on for your trim. So the bracket will actually come up with it. So that's there. So now the bottle's loose. Now we have two pipes. We've got the overflow which goes into this teat at the top here, and then we have the main where the water goes out at the bottom. Now let's get you a bit more zoomed in so you can see a bit better. It's going to be hard, reasonably hard anyway, to give you a perfect view, because obviously I can't get around it at all times. But tools wise, you don't need too much. The pipes may be a bit stiff because obviously this has never been off before, or very unlikely to have been off. So get the clip as far away as you can. And yeah, get the clip off as far away as you can, and then the pipe might twist off, it might not. If it doesn't, sort of try a few different movements, pulling it, pushing it, wiggling it around. Failing that, get yourself a little flat-headed screwdriver and just run it round carefully, because you don't want to damage the pipe, but just carefully try and run it round the inside and just push it off a little bit all the way around, because all it is it's just over the years got stuck onto the pipe. There you go. You can sort of feel it come loose, and then it'll pull. Now you can't go too mad because it's attached to a metal pipe the other end, so it won't go too far. And there you have it. So that's that one off. Now all we're left with is the bottom one, which is a slightly bigger one and obviously awkward to get to because it's down there and there's not really a great deal of room. So this is going to be the fun part. So lift it as best you can. The clip is there, which I'll try and get to with these. You may need a set of long nose pliers, which I have. just to try and get you in, or if you've got the special tool for doing these, even better. And like I said, it's going to be a bit fiddly, so I'm probably in your way, but I can show you when it's off. And you can just try and, whilst you've got hold of the clip, try and wobble the pipe as well as the bottle itself. Right, that's off and out of the way. Now it's just the pipe itself, which is loose-ish, but you can't get a hand on it enough to be able to get it out. So there we go. And she's out. So there you have it. That is the old one removed. So I'll just show you. There is a little bit of coolant in it because obviously I can't get it. There is a bit of sediment in the bottom of the bottle as well. So yeah, let's get this propped up. I'll take a little snapshot of both of them compared before I put it back in again. And then we'll go back to fitting. Okay, so we've got our old one out and out of the way. We've got our new one. And we're basically just going to do everything in reverse. I've got the pipe propped up because I didn't want it to leak everywhere. And then all we're going to do is pull the clip up because it falls down because the pipe is actually slightly slimmer as it turns. And the best thing you can do is just get a tiny bit of coolant on your finger and just wet the end of the pipe, the end of this new one that you're going to be putting in the same hole, because then it will just give it a little bit of slide to go back to where you want it. It's a bit tight because it's just really awkward to get to, more than anything. Make sure it's all the way home before you try and put the clip on. It's not that hard to get on. There you go, that's on there. Let's get our long nose pliers so we can get a bit of a reach from a distance. Now these clips are very frustrating. You can buy a specific tool, but I've just always make do with doing it the hard way. Plus, what fun is it if it's easy, eh? So I'm not happy with that clip. I just want it to be on a little bit more, and then I'll try and give you a shot of what it's like when it's fitted. Plus, there's on the pipe there is actually an obvious sort of mark as to where it was before, because the hose clippers left a bit of a mark there. Just to show you. So in here, let me zoom you out, might get a bit of better view. So the pipe is just there, and you can just see where it's clean there. That's where it was before, which means we're in about the same place. The pipe's right up to the edge. Yeah, the pipe's right up to the edge. It can't go on any further. The clip's on straight, so that I would class as a win. Best thing you can do is once you've done that, just give it a little wipe so that when you do come to refit it, then you know if it has got a little leak, then you know it's from the new stuff. If it's not, it could well have been from previous where you've taken it off again. So just a little tip. And then get that line back up roughly. Just make sure you're happy with everything. I am. That's definitely on there. Cool. So pop the top one back on. Again, right down to the end. This one you can use the bigger grips and just squeeze it, and it should just walk its way across and put it back where it was before. Give it a little tug test. Everyone's winner. Everyone's happy. Nothing's loose. Right. So now for the fun part. That was behind that, I believe. I would say so, yeah. So you've got to try and get this over the bottle and into the fixing at the same time. Get both fixings in before you do either one up tight, because there is a bit of movement, so you don't want to put it all into one place and then it not fit. Then you spend ages trying to get it to work. So get them both in before you nip it up. The bottle can't go far, but the bracket can wobble. It has got sort of elongated holes on, so it can go backwards and forwards a little bit. Get it roughly centre, and that'll pucker up nice. And then all we've got to do is pop our two cables back in into those slots there, so they literally just push in. It's a little bit awkward, especially when you've got fat fingers like me. One, 2, and then we'll push that back in. Now, all this is actually just 2 wires that go, 2 pieces of metal that go into the coolant bowl, and basically they just create a connection which, once the water goes below that level, the connection then breaks, which means it then tells you that it's got a leak. So, very simple really. I'll use the new cap because it's clean, apart from I've just made it a little bit dirty. And then yeah, that is it fitted. So what we'll do is we'll get our coolant we took out. There's nothing wrong with it. And we'll just put it back in. Mine actually needed a little bit of a top up anyway. So I will bring it back up to the between min and max. There we go. There's plenty of coolant in there already, so I'm just going to put a little splash of water in. There we go. Perfecto. So guys, there you have it. That is fitting a new coolant bottle, and for, I think this was 10 or 11 quid. I think it makes a real big difference, especially because if you also look in my old bottle, it is full of what looks like sand, which is just years and years of crap. I don't know where you can see that, but it is just full of just horribleness. So yeah, out with the old, in with the new. Let me just throw the trim on so you can see what it will look like when it's finished. And look at that, look. For something so simple and easy to do, it makes a big difference. So there you have it guys, that is swapping out the coolant tank. Hope you've enjoyed. Stick around for the next one and we'll get back to you soon. Bye for now.